everyone. This is Simran, and welcome to another episode of The Unsaid. Today, I'm joined by Dr. Andrea, a skilled medical cosmetologist. She is here to share her thoughts on skin, health, and beyond. Hi, Andrea.
Hey Simran,
Thank you for being here today.
thank you for having me here.
In your growing years, how did you build this interest for skincare? And was there like a particular story or experience that led you to pursue medical cosmetology?
I think ever since I was 5 or 6, I'd always wanted to become a doctor because my parents had told me that there's no other profession that you can choose, but becoming a doctor is what you should consider. And, beauty has been extremely important for me, taking care of skin, the self care the self care time that I get to do. I've always thought that defined me a lot. Going in front of the mirror and doing the makeup and all of that really interested me, but of course I wanted to become a doctor. So
Mm-hmm.
the turning point in my life was when I was in Singapore,
Mm-hmm.
doing my elementary school.
Mm.
I felt out of place because I was not like other kids, um as in I was not very well groomed like the other kids.
Mm-hmm.
And that made me feel so bad because I remember a few kids came to me and said, I don't want to sit next to you. Really.
Okay.
I'm actually opening up for the first time. So I was thinking what I should be doing to make the other kids like me and to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started really taking care of myself. I did everything possible to look like those other kids.
Mm.
That really gave me a lot of confidence.
Mhm.
And I think as a child, if I had gone through so much of, insecurities,
Mm.
and I could see the difference that I was feeling after I took care of myself, I thought, no, this is something that I have to do because uh, there's nothing better than taking care of yourself. And, I was seeking out for validation
Mm.
because I had a lot of insecurities and those children made me feel that way. So when I really took care of even to go out to the grocery shop, I would not go without makeup. I was extremely, worried about my skin.
Mm.
So then I started working on my skin and I did all my medical cosmetology courses in India and abroad.
Mm.
And then I understood that makeup was not everything, it was like
Right.
flaunting my natural skin. And if I was able to do it for myself, I wanted to help a lot of clients as well. And I think the confidence that I had, I wanted to give it to my clients as well.
Right.
Yeah, so I think it started at a very young age.
All right.
Beauty has always been extremely important. And it's changed me in so many ways, and I wanted to do something centered to this field.
Opening a clinic in Chennai is no joke in a busy city like Chennai, which has already multiple clinics as well. So, what were the challenges and how hard was it for you to start it off and how did you overcome it?
Okay. This goes with any business.
Right.
There is no such thing where you're the only person coming up with a great idea and you're the one who's executing it, because there's so many businesses and you're just wanting to do something better than what other businesses already are, your competitors already offer. You just want to like do something a little more better than them.
Mm.
Honestly speaking, Chennai has 600 cosmetic clinics.
600?
Yes. If you're going to look at competition, you can never do anything in life.
True.
So your lane should be separate, and you should just go by what your heart wants to do and what you feel is the right thing to do.
Hmm.
Of course, there are a lot of people who inspire me, a lot of clinics which inspires me. But I wanted to do something a lot more different, right from naming it luxury derm, and it shouldn't just be in the name. It
Yeah.
should be in the experience and the treatments that we offer to our clients and the way we make them feel. So everything put together should be what it is. And yeah, so this is for anyone who wants to start a business. Do not fear your competitors. Do not fear that if you would do something, because you should carve your own niche.
Right. So just believe in yourself and go ahead.
Yes, you just have to believe in your instincts and what you want for you and just go by it. Definitely, when I was going to start my clinic, this is about 3 years ago. It's now 2 years. Yeah. So we just completed 2 years.
Hmm.
A lot of people, including my own family members, came to me and said, oh, no, you should work in a clinic. You don't have the experience to run a business. You've not even worked in a clinic. You don't know how things are going to be. So deal with clients and get their contacts and then start your own clinic. So it'll get better and easier for you. I said, no, let me just
Do it
try
your
and
way.
see.
Yeah.
If I listen to a lot of other people who told me not to start, I don't think I'll be doing what I'm doing today. So never listen to anyone but yourself. But of course, weigh the pros and cons from what they tell you.
With so many beauty standards out there, what is that one thing that you wish people understood about themselves? And are there any misconceptions about skin that people have? And would you like to clear that out?
See, the lot of beauty standards, there's this Korean beauty standard which people want to follow, all of that. The glass glow skin, which
Mm.
everyone is crazy about. See, I would say just because there are a lot of things easily available in Instagram for you to just view and stuff like that, a lot of influencers we follow. You don't have to do things until and unless it truly bothers you. Just because someone is telling you to do it, do not do it.
Right.
Even when my client comes to me, even when when I look at them, I know the imperfections because that's what I look at,
Yeah.
by default. When I look at their skin or their features, I definitely feel like if we can improve certain things, they will look a lot more better. But I would not tell them until and unless they ask me what to do.
Okay.
Because I don't want to be that person putting more insecurities in them, feeding them with more insecurities
Yeah.
till they come and ask me. And I don't want to make money out of their insecurities. So we're very clear as a team that until and unless a client comes and asks for something, we should really not push them, So the misconception is that they feel, all celebrities have very good skin, right? So they'd come and they'd be like, I want this skin, I want to look like this person and stuff like that. But you should also understand that there's a lot of hard work put in to achieve that kind of results. Uh, People think just one treatment is enough for them to look great, but when you should understand that when it comes to skin and when you want to start investing in your skin, it's a journey by itself.
Yes.
So just because celebrities have great skin doesn't mean that you can't have. Of course you can, but there's a lot of money involved in it. And please do not follow trends until and unless you really want to do it for yourself. Just because someone is forcing you to do it or just because it's out there, do not follow it. That's something I always tell my clients, and I feel that people should understand that as well.
That was actually also my next question. Like, you handle celebrities and, people who are not into the same line. So today, everything is all out in the open, like so much on Instagram. But I feel like, you might see a lot of actors or models and all of that, and people who are not in the same line of profession might want to look that. But I also feel, as you said, it is achievable only to an extent, I feel, because on Instagram also you don't really see the real skin.
True.
And what you see on screen is a whole different story. There are like 1,000 lights and editing and this, that. So when people do come to you and say that, we want to look like a certain person, what would you actually tell them? What is truly achievable for natural skin health?
So when it comes to skin, comparing celebrity skin to theirs, firstly, we have to be very realistic because there's also a lot of makeup,
Right.
lighting,
Right.
filters, edits. So they have a team to do it.
Mm.
But we can make our natural skin a lot more healthier and brighter. And, brighter in the sense it can be more radiant and glowing. So even when clients come and say, oh, I want to be 3 shades fairer, 4 shades fairer, we identify if it's doable. If they're extremely tanned, yes, we can achieve it to an extent. But you cannot alter genes.
Right. Yeah.
So we make them understand that because tomorrow, just to, convert a client, we can't say, oh, come, I'll make you 3 shades fairer. And then tomorrow, after you get the money, they'll come and ask you questions. I would never want such controversies in my clinic. I don't want that disturbance to my staff's working as well, just to convert a client. I would not want to do that. So we definitely tell them what is achievable by looking at their skin, of course, with our experience, and we educate them because a lot of clients who come and say, oh, their skin is not all that great, but I feel they should also understand that we can achieve things only if it is a holistic approach, only when they take care of their skin. And it's not just about applying skincare products or about coming for treatments regularly. It's also your lifestyle changes, your lifestyle modifications that you'll have to definitely follow.
Mm-hmm.
Diet plays a very important role. You need to sleep well. Your stress levels have to be in control,
Mm.
and you should definitely avoid triggers that can cause overpigmentation if that's your concern. For
Mm.
example, the sun, the blue lights and all of that.
Right. So we are in 2025 now. How do you feel people, look at their skin? Are they really comfortable in their skin? Or are there still lots of people who want to achieve that fair and pale skin? Is that still going on?
So about 80% of the people still want to achieve that fair, pale skin.
I thought you were going to say 80% people are comfortable in their
No,
own skin.
unfortunately, no, because that's the most, that's the most query that we get in our clinic,
Hmm.
and also to a lot of people that I talk to. But we also have a few clients, about 20% of the clients who say, no, don't make me fair. I want to embrace my natural color.
Okay.
This is what I like, and that makes me unique by itself.
Right.
So I want clear, healthy skin. So again, but right now, I think the trend is about having clear, healthy, glowing skin. It's all about the glow today.
Yeah.
And if people have pores, they want to like shrink the size of their pores. It's mainly with acne. A lot of people have awareness that it's not just applying topical creams, just cutting on a few food that is going to help them with the acne, but proper in clinic procedures. So they definitely come, and a lot of preteens are coming, and you wouldn't believe we have clients from different age groups, all the way from 14 till 65 to 70. So I think today in 2025, thankfully, because of Instagram, or a lot of people are going out and taking pictures and sharing it across in different platforms. People of different age groups and different genders, they are wanting to take care of their skin because they see it as an investment.
Hmm.
Like how they buy gold, how they go on vacations. For them, taking care of the skin is also equally important. And because that
That part
definitely
is getting better.
that part is getting better. The beauty industry is only growing. It can
Yes.
never go the other way around.
Yeah.
There's because of a lot of awareness as well.
Mm.
So yeah, I think that is good for us as
Yes.
well, because we
Yeah.
get to see a lot of clients. We get to make them happy. We're also taking care of their mental health.
Hmm.
So there's a correlation between your
Yeah.
mental health and your physical health.
So I'm
right?
sure a lot of people, who walk in
Yeah.
also deal with, as you said, in your younger age, you were
Right.
dealing with self-doubt and,
Yes.
mental health.
Yeah.
So how do you actually, help them out or give them advice as to, this is okay, this is just, a phase probably, let it be acne or tan or whatever. So do you actually see a lot of people who are in lots of self-doubt and maybe, feeling low because of their appearances?
Definitely. I'll just share a story of a 55 to 60-year-old lady
Mm-hmm.
who was physically challenged, who walked to my clinic. And I thought she came with her daughter. So I thought that she was wanting to get treatments for her daughter, so she had accompanied her. But no, she said, though I'm physically challenged, I go out and I go out for events and stuff like that, but people generally don't take pictures with me. Like they feel like I photobomb pictures because her skin is not all that great. She has this melasma and all of that
Okay.
hyperpigmentation. So she said, can you help me work on my skin? Is it doable? Like, do you think I'll look a lot more better? And I said, don't worry, we will definitely have an improvement, and you see if there's an improvement, and post that we can definitely take calls on what other procedures we can do and stuff like that. So I gave her a plan, and within 3 to 4 months her skin was getting better. So she came to me and she said, thank you so much. Today I go and I stand for all pictures. And she even forgot that she was physically challenged,
Okay.
because her skin looked nice and all of that, and
That's
people
the
came
kind of
to her.
impact.
That's the kind of impact it has, right?
Mm.
So we're helping you better your, basically we're working on your insecurities.
Mm.
But these insecurities are not just because of external factors, but it could all, but in a way, we in this society, people will tell you off, like people will tell you different things to just
Totally.
make you feel small. It's
Yeah.
their insecurities which they project on you.
Yeah.
So we tend to work on it because we feel like, okay, maybe I might look better. Maybe my skin or my hair might look better. Maybe I can improve my features and all of that. And then they understand that their mental health is getting better. They like taking pictures. They like being in front of the mirror. They like going out to meet their friends. They like participating in different things. And, even getting better jobs, better job opportunities. So I
Hmm.
think in a way, uh, all these trends, whatever that we see in Instagram and all of that, is definitely helping in a way.
Right. So it helps a lot with their confidence
It
and how
helps a
they
lot with their
put
confidence.
themselves out there.
Definitely.
So doctors today are also engaging in these fun reels and social media, and they are developing their own personas online. So how are you dealing with this shift? Because earlier we always saw doctors as a very serious profession.
Right.
So how do you feel about this, and how are you coming around this?
I think a lot of people who are on Instagram have a lot of knowledge today,
Mm-hmm.
also because of the doctors, because they're sharing their
Yeah.
knowledge. And they're making people a lot more self aware
Hmm.
and aware of different diseases and how to take care of their health, their wellness part, and all of that. So, in a way, I think it's a win win situation because they are also educating people. So,
Right.
and also they get to be a little famous
Hmm.
because, again, when you just see patients and all of that, you also need a breather here and there, right? So, in a way, it is good for them as well. But there are certain doctors who are completely against using social media, to
Hmm.
promote themselves.
Okay.
And I think it's very subjective, it's person to
Person to
person,
person.
but it depends on how much you are really benefiting people watching your Instagram videos or whatever, rather than you pocketing money from whatever you're doing,
Yeah.
right? So it has to be more of a better thing for the people viewing it.
Yeah.
And a lot of information today.
Yeah.
So you need to be very mindful of what to pick in. You
Right.
just can't believe
Yeah.
everything that's out there on
True.
Instagram.
Yeah.
You need to do your own research
Yeah.
too. Instagram is flooded with a
Lots.
lot of
Yeah.
information.
Right. So sometimes it's the small everyday habit that really helps your skin. Are there any easy small tips that you would like to give people, that'll really improve their skin health in a very natural and healthy way?
Sure. So, see, when it comes to skin health, it's not just what you apply, like I was just saying, it's also your sleep, your hydration, your food, and your everyday habits. Uh, for instance, a lot of people who are understanding the importance of sunscreen these days. So, sunscreen is a non negotiable, and everyone knows it.
Yeah.
If you're just starting out, I would say start with a very good AM skincare routine. It doesn't have to be 10-step long. It just needs to be very minimal with ingredients that your skin currently needs. If it's pigmentation, then ingredients, around pigmentation. Could be a glycolic acid or a lactic acid cleanser, and then you can go for a good moisturizer that will be lightweight because again we don't want anything to clog our pores and make it too oily and all of that. So you need to definitely look out for shady areas and try to avoid the peak sun from 11 to 3 to 4 where the UV index is high. So these are things that you can generally
Avoid.
avoid. As much as your AM skincare routine is important, your PM skincare routine is extremely important too. Because you need to wash off all the sunscreen and all the dust and the pollutants that you've been exposed from the morning. So your all the repair happens in the night. And the protection happens in the morning. But a little fun tip would be I would always tell my clients that AM and your PM skincare routine is not going to take more than 2-3 minutes of your day. That's how much you're going to spend time for your skin applying products. The procedures are separate, but applying products and all of that. The rest is, yes, you have to take care because it's a part of wellness and your health and, you're taking care of everything. If you find it too difficult to do your skincare routine, get a good mirror, a good lighting, play some music, light a candle, just consider it as me time and, be very mindful of what you're doing and enjoy each and every minute because a lot of people give up in the middle of starting a skincare routine because everyone wants quick results.
Yeah.
Nobody has the patience to wait. So just remember that everything, if you're going to be consistent and it's not just applying skincare, it's a holistic approach, you will definitely see the results. If you don't, please go to a clinic which has good treatments and devices, good doctors, and get yourself treated.
So running a business and then, as you said, taking care of a lot of patients who come with so many insecurities and issues, and then having a life of your own, your personal life and, friends, family. How do you manage these things?
I know it's difficult, but I think there are a lot of people doing a lot of nice things today. The people running 20, 30 businesses, and they still have the time to take care of their family and all of that. So it's basically how you prioritize.
Hmm.
But thankfully, I have a great team who takes care of the clinic and my business when I'm not there.
Hmm.
I have huge support from my family members. So I think I'm blessed that way. I give a lot of respect to my team, and I don't make them feel like they're working for me,
Hmm. Hmm.
but they always feel that Luxury is their clinic, not my clinic,
Right.
So
Hmm.
I do give them a lot of space, and I think that helps them and that helps me as well.
Hmm.
And I think it's how you prioritize things, because I just can't be running behind business and living out my social life.
Hmm.
I think it's about finding the right balance.
Hmm.
And again, it's not just about going out with friends or, just having a social life, but it's about having your own time.
Hmm.
That's how I reset and pause and improve if I want to. So I also do a lot of things centered along wellness,
Hmm.
for myself, for my health, for my
Hmm.
mental health, for my physical health.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, yeah, it is difficult in a way, but when I realize that there are a lot of people doing better things than what I'm doing, that motivates me,
Okay.
to find time.
That's it for today's episode of The Outset. Thank you, Dr. Andrea, for being here and letting us know so many important things about life and also sharing a side of you that my listeners would get to know and have an idea of, what you look on the outside is not exactly what people could be feeling on the inside. And it's a journey of their own.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for doing that
And
today.
thank you for having me here and making me open up about so many things which I otherwise wouldn't have told anyone.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
So that's it for today. Until next time, take care and see you soon.